Awesome.
Okay, well, I'm so excited to be here. I'm Eric Johnson, creator and CEO of Teamzy, and you guys are gonna I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by what I have to share with you today. Just to kind of give you an idea how we started. Teamzy's been around 6 years now. Gosh, so it's gone by so fast. And at the time we built Teamzy, I was a Beachbody coach. Have you guys ever heard of Beachbody? There seems to be a lot of crossover actually with you guys. So we, at the time I was a Beachbody coach, but my background is as a professional business consultant and business coach. I've been doing that for 21 years, coaching people on their business, helping them to build relationships-based business. And I started doing Beachbody kind of on the side for fun because I really liked their products and they were really helping me. And after I kind of just dove in, just a couple of weeks in, I said, man, this is insane. How does somebody do this? I had a full-time job, 4 kids, a couple of dogs. I don't know, you guys could probably relate. And I'm like, how do you build your business? Where's the leftover time, right? So I started thinking to myself, well, if somebody came to me and hired me as a consultant, first thing I would ask is what tools are available that will help you leverage your time so you can be more effective and efficient. And so I started thinking, well, oh my gosh, I mean, network marketing, direct sales is a massive industry. There's got to be great tools. And as I started looking around, there really weren't any. And there were a few software platforms that were really clunky and overcomplicated, and they focused people in on the wrong activities. See, the thing is that, how am I going to say this? Can I just be blunt with you guys so I don't have to walk on eggshells about it? Like 99% of what's taught in our industry is really gross. Would you guys agree? I mean, it's like old school sales. It's like the 1970s, they're calling for your sales tactics, right? And it's like, hey man, you just got to get your list and just pound your list. Here's a script you can use. Just cold message everybody, send them a video from corporate, harass them to see if they've watched it. I mean, I've read all the books and been to all the seminars. And I was kind of appalled, no wonder there's a bad reputation in direct sales. It's because people are doing these tactics that my technical term I use is that they're icky, right? They're icky. You feel icky doing them. People feel icky when you do it to them. And for 21 years, I've been teaching people how to build real authentic relationships. And Teamzy is just a tool that helps you do that in a minimum amount of time at a high level of efficiency, if that makes sense. And I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. But we built Teamzy because the couple of platforms that were there at the time, they were focused on like this, the go for no concept. Have you guys heard of the go for no concept? Yeah. And it's this insane idea. It's really insane. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm not going to get off topic, but don't we live in kind of an upside down world right now? And one of the upside down ideas is that if you can get yourself exposed to a massive amount of rejection, you're going to somehow be successful. Right? I mean, how many of you guys were like, that doesn't sound right? So it's like, yeah, we're going to go for no. You're just going to message everybody you know, and most of them are going to reject you hard. And that's awesome, Eric, because you're going to get a couple yeses and yeah, you're going to be in the business. I'm like, that is insane. Why would I ever subject myself to that? How many of you guys have felt like that? There is a better way to do this. There's a much better way to approach people so that you don't end up getting rejected. You don't damage any of your relationships. Right? Instead of damaging relationships, you actually build trust with people. You actually deepen relationships. So people might not be interested in what you're doing right now when you've talked to them. That's fine. At least you're not leaving them, wanting to run away from you. Does this make sense? So I'm going to kind of feather in some of those principles of relationship marketing as I show you the software, but that you just need to know that's the approach. The approach is that we're others focused. We focus on building relationships, whereas going for no is totally selfish, right? I need something from you. I need you to help me out. It's like, okay, then your friends feel like you're painting a target on their backs. So we're going to show you how to do it where you get amazing response. You never have to feel icky, and it keeps you organized so that you don't mess up. You don't lose anybody. Nobody falls through the cracks. Because what happens is, and I bet some of the people on this call are really good at connecting with people. And so you found some success in the business. The thing though is that what will happen over time is you'll end up, whether, let's say you're on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you're messaging people, you end up going back to the same 30 people all the time. right? And you miss so many people. What happens is it's like drinking water with your bare hands. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever had to drink water to your bare hands? Like it works, right? When you're really thirsty, you can drink water from your bare hands, but how much do you spill? How much spills, right? And so that's why we got to have something like Teamzy. So when we built Teamzy 6 years ago, it was really for me. I was like, I need this. And if I need this, other people probably need it too. We built it and it was just for Beachbody at first. And it just kind of took off and people started using it like crazy. And it wasn't long before I had to quit Beachbody and focus on Teamzy. It's just started growing. And we ended up, we've got more than 90 versions custom for Teamzy. And you guys, we have a custom version for you as well, which is pretty cool. Because a lot of people left Beachbody and came over to your company. And then they called me and said, now we need it from our company, please. So it's been an amazing ride. I just want to give you just a little background on what's happened. We've had the honor of serving over 150,000 network marketers in those 6 years. We're not a big tech company, family owned, right? And we've spread through people introducing us, just like Angel's introducing me to you tonight. And that's how we've grown. People using Teamzy on average have been, just to kind of give you an idea of results, the average result, people using it regularly, is 21 customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. So 21 new customers and 9 recruits. And those are frontline, personally sponsored people, right? Not just downline. So 9 sponsored people, 21 customers on average over 90 days, which is pretty good. How many of you guys like that idea? So multiply that times 4, it's a decent year for most people, right? And so depending on what you put into it, you could be above average, you could be average, or you could be below average. I've talked to a lot of corporate bigwigs in this business, and they're like, well, what about the people who just kind of use it every once in a while? And they still do pretty well. They end up with like 5 customers and 4 team members every 90 days. The people who are doing it like twice a week, right? So it just depends on what you put into it. But here's one thing I'm going to show you Teamzy right now. We'll go in and I'll demo it for you. The other piece of this, besides it being about relationships, being authentic, not having to do any cheesy stuff, the other thing about it is it's designed to help you get it all done in less than an hour a day. Okay. How many of you are like, oh, that sounds good. Less than an hour a day. That was the point. The tool is to help you leverage your time to be efficient and effective. Know you've got everything handled in less than an hour a day. I don't know, Angel, I don't even know if you're aware of this, but I wrote a book called Power Hour Boss. And that's what this basically explains Teamzy. But all these concepts is what I've been teaching for 21 years, teaching people to do in their businesses. That's what Teamzy does for you. So get it done in less than an hour a day, be authentic you, and see amazing results. You guys want to see it?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay, so first off, as we're coming into this, I want you guys to know you can go to teamzy.com and you can get a free trial. Okay, so you can sign up for free and test it out. We won't ask for your credit card number or anything weird. Okay, you can just go in and use it. Okay, and then you get 2 weeks free. Once you've logged in, and when you go, it'll say, select your business. You'll see a drop down. So you're going to be they're alphabetical. So go all the way down to the bottom to get your version. And that's what I'm going to show you, which is the custom version for you guys. Okay. Once you've logged into your free trial, this is your first screen. It's just a welcome screen for me. There's a video. We're going to skip the video, but I'm just going to walk you through this process really quickly so we can show you how easy it is to set up. How many of you are a little bit intimidated by this kind of system? Setting it up. Okay, good.
Y'all, the videos are so good. They're like concise and quick. So definitely watch them.
I'm not a techie person, even though I own a couple tech companies. Somebody else does that for me. And if it's easy enough for me to use, I know you guys can use it. Does this make sense? Okay. So a couple things you can do here. The first thing I want to show you is this, and Angel was mentioning this. So the first thing that you're going to do in setup is set an income goal. Now, this is how much you want to be earning 12 months from now. Okay. So once you set your goal, you can see my goal was 150,000. You can slide this little dot up. Angel's
I went for 5. I mean, I was like,
he's in the whoa Nelly. It says whoa Nelly. Yeah.
I mean, why not, right?
So here's what I do recommend though. Everyone should set at least 100,000 as your goal. because you can see as I move this, it changes your daily targets on how much activity you need to do. So at 100,000, you guys, it's like 30 minutes of work in Teamzy. So like, don't set your goal lower than that, please. Okay. So my goal was 150 at the time. That was like my salary. I wanted to quit my job to be with my family full time. So that was my goal. That was my first goal. And some of you might have a goal like that too, or maybe you're home and you want to get your husband home or something like that. I mean, we all have different reasons why that first milestone is there, but my goal is to get to 150. Now, at that goal, Teamzy is telling me I need to connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 representatives each day. Okay, and that's 5 days a week is all, just 5 days a week. Okay, some people are like, oh, it's 365 days. No, it's 5 days a week. I need to connect with those, what is that, 19 people. Okay, so I'm going to click on continue, and that's going to take me to the next step, which is getting my contacts into Teamzy. Now, what's cool is when I set that goal just now, Teamzy is going to be configured to that goal. So each one of you will have a custom dashboard to the goal you set, which is pretty neat, right? Now we're going to get our contacts into Teamzy, and there's, you want to get your team in first. Okay. So if you can get, and I don't know your back office, but if you can export that list, you import those guys, you import your customers, any customers that you have that aren't team, get them in there. And then whatever contact lists you have, you can import them. A lot of people like to start with their Facebook list because it's super easy to import. If you're using Google Chrome, like I am, there's even an extension. You can do one click and it'll sync your Facebook friends into Teamzy, which is pretty cool. So wherever you've got, any social media platform that you want to export contacts from, you can put them in Teamzy. There's instructions on every single one in our help center on how to do it. But once you get everybody in here into one place, organized, something magical happens. First of all, there's no more pads of paper, sticky notes, spreadsheets you haven't updated, right? The Trello boards you tried and failed on keeping up with, right? All these things that are hard to keep up with, forget it. All your contacts now live in the cloud. If you have your phone, you can get to Teamzy, right? So you can always access it. It's always there for you. So you don't need to write somebody's information down on a napkin. You can pull out your phone, open Teamzy, and put them right in the system, which is pretty cool. The other thing that Teamzy is going to do with these contacts, I'm going to show you this in a second, is we have an algorithm that makes sure that you stay in contact with everybody that's in here without dropping anybody through the cracks. Isn't that cool? You don't have to think about it. It just tells you, okay, here's who you're going to connect with today. All right, so let's go in and check it out. So here we are. This little big box up here, these are just things to help you get set up. Okay, I'm going to minimize that. So what I want you to look at, there's a few things here on the dashboard. We're not going to go through every feature of Teamzy tonight because I want to give you some Q&A with me, but I just want to show you the basics, okay? So look at today's activities. See right here, this bar right across the middle. So this is what we need to get done today. So I need to connect with 9 prospects. You can see I've got 0 done. This kind of gives me my progress visually as I go. I need to connect with 6 customers and 4 representatives. That's based on my goal. Here, let me expand my screen a little so everything looks spaced nicer there. That's better. That look better? I had it squished. I have a massive Mac, those huge screens. So things, anyways. Okay. And then of course I've got 2 more goals. One is to share. Okay, so these are connects. So my goal is to connect with prospects, customers, and representatives. What do I mean by connect? I just mean I want to make their day. That's it. I just want to reach out and make their day. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm not trying to show them a video or anything like that. Okay, I just want to make their day. I call it the make someone's day mindset. And we actually used to have Teamzy t-shirts that said, it was our hashtag make someone's day mindset. So here's what I want you guys to know as you're doing this. Your goal is just to make their day. I'll show you how to do it. It's super easy. The reason why we do that is because to be in momentum in this business, the first step of being in momentum in the business is starting conversations every day. Okay? Starting conversations every day. So write that down. First step of momentum, starting conversations every day. How many of you want to be in momentum in your business all the time? So you got to be starting conversations every day. If you're not starting conversations every day, you will not be in momentum, right? You might be for a few more days and then it'll stop. So we do that by reaching out to make people's day. I've also got a goal right here. You see where I'm circling where it says shares. That's sharing the business or sharing the products with somebody. So my goal is to do that a few times a day, but I'm not going to share with everybody I reach out to. Does this make sense? Because we have to talk first, right? It's like, hey, Sloan, I haven't talked to you since high school. Do you need some leggings? Let me show you what I got. Check these out. You're going to be like, what? Leave me alone, right? You got to start with hi. You got to have a conversation. You need to be interested in people and catch up, right? They may not need what you have. How would you know until you talk? So the goal is to share, but we do it when appropriate. I'll give you an example in a minute, okay? And then I've got a goal to add new people to Teamzy every day. Add new people to Teamzy every day. It's really important. It's a super important habit to always be adding new people to your list of relationships so you can build relationships with them. This is the energy that we call it the fresh water in the business, right? It's fresh water. So how many of you guys have ever been to like a beautiful lake, you know, maybe on vacation, or you've seen a gorgeous lake? You think of your business like a gorgeous lake, right? But if there's not that trickle of fresh water coming in, like a creek or snow melt or whatever, like that lake's going to die. It's going to turn into slimy, stagnant, gross, right? So the fresh water in the business is so important. It adds energy. So our goal is to always be adding a couple of people a day to Teamzy. Are you guys with me so far? Okay. So those are the fundamental things. We're going to be connecting with prospects, customers, representatives on our team, sharing where appropriate, adding new people to Teamzy. Okay. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to scroll a little bit. Teamzy is a CRM. Has anyone ever heard of CRM? Yeah, that means customer or contact relationship manager. It's just a type of software. Okay, we don't need to get into the technical mumbo jumbo. Typically, CRMs are super boring, super complicated, and people hate to use them. How many of you guys use one for work and you wish you didn't have to? Okay, so, but what we did with Teamzy was we made it so that nobody knows it's a CRM. They're like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Teamzy is like, how did Angel describe it? Game changer, right? Game changer, life changer, answer to prayer. These are the messages I get every day. I'm not trying to be obnoxious about it, but this is how it's going to change how you do your business. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's the thing I want you guys to understand. Because Teamzy is a CRM, it keeps track of all of your people. All your contacts are in here. All of their contact information's in here stored, right? So you can get to it. You can add things as you learn, like what their dogs' names are, the names of their children, their favorite Starbucks drink, whatever, right? These are things I like to know. I love to know these things. By the way, understanding what people's favorite coffee drink is huge. How many of you have customers or team members that are local to you? Or maybe you guys get together once a year or twice a year to go to conventions and things like that? Do you know how amazing it is when you show up with somebody's favorite drink from Starbucks? It's like $5, right, of your and 10 minutes of your time, and it will totally blow somebody's socks off. Like, just think about little things like that. That's what a CRM is there to do, is to help you be thoughtful like that. So you keep information that'll help you be thoughtful in the future. Now, that's all in here. Great. But what Teamzy does in addition to that is it mines the data for you. And it tells you what to do each day, with whom, how to say it, and how to keep track of it. Okay. So this is like having a $80,000 a year salaried assistant that's preparing your action steps each day. Make sense? So let me just give you an example. If you guys look at the screen right now, you can see this module called Power Hour. You guys see that area right there? Now this is going to tell me what to do. You can see it's labeled who's up next. These are my four lists actually: prospects, my customers, my reps on my team, and then my follow-ups list. Okay. The right-hand side is where I log the message I'm sending so that it's tracked. It's super important to track that you send somebody a message for a couple of reasons. One, you need to track who you're talking to so that nobody falls through the cracks. Make sense? But the other thing that Teamzy does is Teamzy cycles everybody through this Power Hour module based on their rankings. You notice next to their names, there's a number. So Angel's a 5, for example. That means she's 5 stars. I've given her a 5-star rating. So that means she's going to be at the top of my list. She's also going to come back after I log that I connect with her. She'll disappear off my list and she'll come back 30 days later automatically. I don't have to remember. I don't have to set myself a reminder. She just comes back. If you scroll down, 4 stars, I don't have how many on the list right now. 4-star people come back every 60 days. 3-star people come back every 90 days. 2-star people come back every 120 days. Does this make sense? When you go through your list, you'll probably have 10 to 30 5-star people at the maximum. Okay. But you'll not, probably 90% of your list will be 3 stars. Because I want you to think of it like this. The stars are based on how much they trust you, how much they like you, how comfortable you are with them. But really look at it like this. How often is it weird? Is it too weird if I contact this person too much? Like if I barely know you and I message you every month on the 2nd of the month, won't that be strange? Make sense? So that person's not 5-star. But if I message you to check in every 3 months, that might seem totally normal because we're acquaintances and seem nice. Make sense? So this helps you stay in touch with people. So I want you to think of all your relationships are at different stages. The goal is over time to build trust with people and deepen relationships. So they might be a 2-star now, but they might be 4 stars a year from now, right? So as you get to know them a little, are you guys with me with the concept? Okay. So there's a real simple way to rank the whole list. I won't show that to you guys. If you want it in the Q&A section, I'll show that to you guys, but I want to show you now how to do a power hour. You guys ready? Let's see how easy this is. Okay. So the first person on my list today, you always start and work from left to right. So you do prospects first. Now, once you've been doing Teamzy for a week or 2, you're going to have a ton of follow-ups that you want to go to first, right? But you discipline yourself to go left to right because we always need to start new conversations. You guys got that, right? Starting new conversations daily is huge. So what we're going to do is we're going to message people to make their day. Angel's the first person on my list. I need to message her to make her day. Now what? What the heck do I say? Right? And so when we first launched Teamzy, people would come to me and say, Eric, I have no idea what to say. You did a team call. You made it sound so easy. Well, it's easier for me because I've been teaching this more than 20 years, right? Some of you guys 20 years ago, I'm looking at some of these beautiful faces going 20 years ago, they were not thinking about this business when I was. Okay. So what we did was I put my scripts, my 100 of my scripts in Teamzy for you to use. Okay. These are not cheesy sales scripts. I just want you guys to know those are icky. I can't stand them. These are just conversational scripts. Let me give you an example. I want to message Angel. I'm going to go down here to scripts. You see right there, the little light bulb and it says scripts. Click on that. And then you can find a script that you like and use it. What's really cool too, is you can put your own scripts in here and save them so that yours are here too when you go to search. Yeah, this is cool. See, Angel didn't know that. She's like, well, I got to take a note on that. Okay. So look, I'm going to message her on Facebook because that's where we connected. And so I've got some choices here of a bunch of scripts. So I'm just going to pick the first one, the very first one on the list. It says, hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome. Okay, it's super simple. It's non-threatening. It's nice. It's got good energy. Do you guys see how easy this is? Now watch. I'm just going to click on copy script. That goes to my clipboard. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste it in to Teamzy so that I can edit it a little bit. Obviously, I want the correct name. Now, just one pro tip on this. Always use their first name when you start a new chat. Don't ever shortcut and say sweetie or girl or buddy or friend or whatever, because then it sounds like it's a generic message. So one of the key principles to building relationships is it has to be personal. It has to be a one-on-one personal connection. I always make fun of these postcards, these birthday postcards you get from like your dentist and stuff. Like these are look, this is 2 years in a row. I got the same one. Right? And this is not personal, is it? We don't value this. But when you get a birthday card from somebody you love and they write a message in there and they tell you how amazing you are, you save it forever. What's the difference? It's the personal connection. Does this make sense? So we want to make sure that we use their first name. The other thing I would do here is maybe add a couple of emojis. How many of you guys are emoji? Like a lot of emojis. So maybe add a couple of emojis just so they know it's just, it's lighthearted, fun, whatever. Okay, just something simple. So look, I've got this now set the way I want it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, and then however you want to send it, go send it, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, text, whatever you're using, right? I've got Facebook open right here in another tab. So I'm just going to do it there. And send her a message. Look at this. Here we go. Boom, paste that in and send. Now, don't get to this spot and overthink. How many of you guys get to this spot and you stare at the message and you wonder, should I send it? Just send it. Okay, so we've sent her the message. I'll toggle back over to Teamzy. So now I'm just going to finish logging this. What kind of activity was it? It was a Facebook message, log connect. That's done. Now, look, she's gone. Now I have 1 done. You guys see that? And this blue circle is starting to fill in. I've got 8 to go. Next on my list is J. Okay. So I've still got that same script on my clipboard. I'll just paste it in here and change the name to J. Now I've got my emojis. So I'm going to go faster and faster. Okay. So here we go. There's J. She's ready to go. We're going to toggle over here. And you can actually save people's messenger links in Teamzy, so you can just click on it. I think it's about the same speed. Just look up their name as it is to do that. So I don't do it. But look, I sent her the message. Now I come back over here. I log it. Keep going. Boom, 2 done. Now see that circle filling in? So what you're going to do in your power hour is you don't need to spend a lot of time on this. Just personalize it a little bit, send the message. It's just a simple hello. It's not deep. They're going to respond though. I bet you guys will get close to 100% response rate on these. Honestly. If you're out there and you're on socials, you're going to get like really high response rate. Plan for, I always say 50 to 80% response rate, but I think it's going to be closer to 100, honestly. Angel, has that been true for you? I mean, just give us a wave if that's about right.
So many. And the cool thing is I'll put in there notes about the person too, because I do kind of look and see what they're doing, whatever, but it's amazing because you're just connecting with them. I love this order. It's just people I wouldn't have thought of connecting with for a while. So yeah, I've had an amazing response, like way more than I was getting just messaging people out of whatever list or whatever I was finding through.
So what happens is that people are expecting you to try to sell them something. So when you just say hello, it's easy for them to respond. Does this make sense? You're not putting any pressure on them.
I love your script. I think Randy, we sat down to this, like, how can I make your day or whatever? It's like so cute. It's like, oh my gosh, I would love to get that.
That's in here. I'll show you in a second. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work down my prospects list until that circle's filled in. So whatever your goal is, when that circle's fully blue, you're done prospecting for today. Okay. Now, some of you are like, oh, it's so much fun. This is what's going to happen. You go, it's so much fun. I want to keep going. But I just want to caution you guys, because if you send like 40 messages in a day, you will be having 40 chats that night on your phone. Okay. So you just need to be prepared for that. So 19, 20 is manageable, though you'll still be busy. Are you with me? So that's what happened to me. I tell the story sometimes on webinars. I won't get too deep into it, but when I was with Beachbody, I was the only person in the world who had Teamzy. I had the first version. I tested it out. I started sending people messages. I messaged 43 people. I had at the time, my son was like 3, so he came in and interrupted me. I probably would have kept going, but all 43 people returned the message, and I had a big month. I even got a personal note from Carl Deichler, who's the CEO of Beachbody, congratulating me on my month. And I was a nobody. Like nobody had ever, I wasn't like a known person in the network, right? He was just like, and I think he was probably confused by it. Like, who is this guy? I'm just testing a new software platform. It works. What the heck? But I have to tell you, that month was, it was a little bit too much to manage. And so I figured I'd get the same results by just being steady. Okay. So once you've connected with your prospects, you go to the next list, which is your customers. Okay. And so the same thing, you're going to find scripts for customers. You just want to send a message to connect with people. And here's a great one, which is like, hi, John, how are you enjoying the products? Right. And please take out the words, the products, and put in what they have bought. Okay. You guys are killing me if you send the products. So, how are you loving, whatever they just bought? Please send me an update. Let me know how I can be of help. This is a great way to reconnect with customers you have not stayed in touch with, right? Just like send me an update. How's everything going? Okay. I also love this one, which is one Angel just mentioned, which is, hi, Jane, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Okay. People love this one. And this is the reason why this will work so well is because this is literally what we're trying to do, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to just message our customers the same way. My goal is 6. Whatever 6 come up, I'm just going to send them a message. It doesn't have to be a salesy message. It doesn't have to be a, hey, we're having a promo this week or whatever. Now you can send those messages, but I would recommend first getting in regular contact with people. Then it's like, hey, we're having a sale. That's like, okay, cool. It's not out of the blue. It's like, we've been having a chat and here's some, Are you with me? Because you don't want to be the icky salesperson. You don't want to violate the trust of the friendship. But again, I would do the same thing. Hi, Luis, just checking to see if there's anything to do to make your day. Send them a message and log it. Okay. And then this pink circle will be your guide to know when you're done connecting with customers. Now, really quick, before I go over to representatives, I just want you guys to understand something. Why connecting with customers, past and present, is so important. And the reason I say past and present is because if anyone's ever ordered from you, they should be treated as if they did it today. Okay, how many of you have been in the business for a couple years or more? Do we have anybody that's been around for a little bit? Okay, so those customers you haven't talked to, they're still your customers, okay? Because you can go on Instagram and meet 10,000 people. They don't trust you as much as the person who already spent money with you. Does this make sense? Okay, so first off, who are your customers? Everyone who's ever bought from you is your customer. Keep them in Teamzy. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just connect with them on a regular basis just to keep the relationship going. Now, what you'll find is a lot of these conversations turn to business because they're watching you on social, they're seeing the new stuff, they'll ask you questions. Here's what I want you guys to understand is happening from a statistical, empirical data, is that when you're in regular contact with your customers, they order more products and they retain longer. This is an open secret that businesses know. That's why so many businesses, at least the ones who do it right, actually have people staying in touch because they know over time you'll retain longer and you'll order more products. So your customer who bought some stuff, they're going to buy more stuff. Why? Just because you're in contact, not because you're selling it. Make sense? So you guys need to understand that people want to do business with friends. People want to do business with friends. They want to know that the people that are helping them are their friends, that care about them, that they like them, right? Isn't this true? Like when you go into a restaurant, don't you love it when they know you? And they're so excited to see you. They know what you like, right? It's like a great feeling. And this is the way people want their business to be done too. So we stay in regular contact with our customers. They order more products, they retain longer. The other magic thing that happens with customers is they introduce us to their friends, right? If that's not happening, then we need to do more trainings, Angel. This is it. This is it. Okay, so just so you guys know, just really quick, you know, if you're talking to customers, let's just pretend Angel's my customer, and I reach out and I'm like, how are you loving the leggings you got last week? Aren't they like butter? She's like, oh my gosh, they're amazing, right? I'm trying to get in your guys' spot. Okay. And I'm like, you know, I know that you've been loving them. I've been seeing you post on Instagram. You look great in the stuff. I'm sure people have noticed. And you've probably got friends or family who are interested in learning more about this. So before I get too busy this month, is there anyone you care about that needs information? And she's going to say, yeah, actually, I got Sarah and Sloan, who I was just talking. They were just asking me about them yesterday. I'm picking your names off the Zoom, okay, guys. So you get the idea. So she's like, I was like, perfect. That's awesome. Well, would you mind introducing me to Sarah and Sloan? Like on a quick message or text, group message, whatever's easiest. And I'll get them some more info. Do you guys see how easy that is? So it's very important that you ask people to introduce you because they're not going to think of it on their own. And don't ask people to keep you in mind or tell your friends or family about you, because that's like, I had a mentor once that said, it's like driving down the highway and throwing your business cards in the air out the window and praying for a miracle that they land in the right people's hands, right? No, you got to ask people who are loving what you're doing. Ask them if they know anyone who needs more information, because I want to help your friends and family like I did you. Make sense? And then get them to introduce you. Now, here's what happens is the most likely people to do this are your customers who are loving what you're doing. They're loving the products. And then what happens when Angel introduces me to these ladies and I talk to them, and I get them excited about joining the business or get them excited about ordering, whatever the case may be, I'm going to now go back to Angel and be like, thank you so much for introducing me to Sloan and Sarah. They're amazing. They're excited. And the best part is they're interested. And I'm just about to put their orders in. But before I do, I just want to ask you one question, Angel. Have you ever thought of doing what I do? Are you guys with me? Customers are the best source for new customers, and customers are your best option for new representatives. And I just want you guys to keep that in mind, but it comes down to staying in regular contact with them. You're not going to have a relationship out of the blue. No one's going to call you up and be like, hey, thank you so much for, I've been 6 months ago when I last heard, I've been thinking about you for 6 months since the last time you messaged me and I'm ready to join your team. That's not going to happen. Are you with me? Okay. I got to be careful. I say, does that make sense so much that I had somebody tell me that if they'd known me in college, they would have been a drinking game watching my webinars. And does that make sense? Everybody drinks. Okay. So we're going to go through our prospects, then we're going to go through our customers, then we're going to connect with people on our team. This is why we call it Teamzy, right? It's not leadsy, salesy, cheesy, Teamzy. Because without the team, you don't have the business. Without the business, you're not going to have the life of your dreams. Make sense? And you guys need to know this. We've been talking about things that are going to connect you with prospects and customers and recruiting, right? But the thing that no one wants to talk about is the retention rates, the fact that people quit like crazy. And so we need to focus on building relationships with our team members so they want to stay around a bit, right? It takes a little time to help people be successful. You want them sticking around. And I will tell you this, the number one thing that causes people to stick around is the quality of the relationship you have with them. So they're in Teamzy too. You're staying in contact because you know what? You don't realize that 3 months passed. It's like that. So they're in there, you stay in touch with them, you're reaching out to them. Make sense? And then as you bring them in, you get them in teams, you get them doing it too. It creates a great culture. So prospects, customers, representatives, that's the first half of your power hour is just sending messages. You can get this done so quick. It's just make their day. You can use my scripts, just boom, 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 fire them off. Whoever's up next, fire them off, log it, okay? The last list is follow-ups. And when I go there real quick, there's nothing there. Follow-ups are not automatic. Follow-ups are things that you set a follow-up for. Remember, I don't need to set a follow-up to stay in touch with somebody because they just automatically come back. I set a follow-up typically after I've shared the business or I've shared some products with somebody. I'm following up to see if they're ready to get started. Does this make sense? So that's really what the follow-up list is designed to do. Now, nobody's there. So let me give you a quick example. Now, going back to Angel, she's not my customer anymore. Now she's my prospect. I messaged her just to make someone's day message. She responds, oh my gosh, great to hear from you. It's so nice. And now I have a chance to have a conversation with her, right? And it's so funny because people will constantly message me and go, Eric, it worked. And they responded. Now, what do I do? I'm like, just talk to them, have a conversation, right? Now, I know that you're on social media, but just pretend you're in person. Just pretend you're in person. How would you, if you bumped into me in the store, how would you have a conversation, right? Ask them what's going on in their life. What have they been up to? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in 20 years. What are you doing these days? Isn't that what you do? So catch up with people, right? And here's what I want you guys to know. It's like, I don't want you to be waiting to drop, your business on them. I want you just to have a conversation, just get in the conversation and enjoy it, okay? And listen. Try to learn as much as you can about them to see if there's some way you can help them, right? Maybe it's with your business. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just something else, right? It's amazing how, and people message me all the time. It's amazing how someone will be like, I was really in a dark moment and you messaged me and lifted me out of it. It's like, you don't know that that's going to happen, but it does all the time. Does it make sense? People don't actually connect. It's very rare, which is why people are going to be super stoked when you start connecting with them, especially those of you guys who are active on social media. People are watching you on social media and then you message them. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm part of their life. I'm not just watching, right? Which is really cool.
Well, and I like how your messages are really short. Like that's the one thing I always tell people is like, message people what you want to be messaged. And when I get a message from me, it's like a long sales pitch with I'm like, you didn't even ask me about me. Like, no. So yours to say, how can I make your day? Or how are you doing? Or whatever, like to keep it short and sweet and non-business related is so, I think so key.
It's important that you try to fit your messages so that they'll show on the lock screen without being opened.
Yeah.
Can I say
So
something?
break it up into little pieces. Does that make sense? Sarah, did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say something really quick. You're talking about that, but like when you're looking at, like you said, personalized, it's so important to personalize just the littlest bit. But like on my birthday recently, I must have got like 4 different messages from people. Like, again, I don't even know who these people are, how am I Facebook friends with them? but they all must have sold the same product because they sent me verbatim the exact message. And I was just like so put off. And I'm like, I'm never going to respond to you. Like, I don't know if your company set out a mass mailer, like this is what you should message people on their birthday, but it was so off-putting. Like, beyond.
That's weird. That's weird. Well, it wasn't Teamzy because we don't have any birthday messages in the scripts.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying it was. I was just saying.
Yeah.
Eric, you
No.
might be mentioning this too. When you do message, let's say me, and you can add the follow-up there in that right-hand side, which is really cool. But also when I'm doing my follow-ups just for my customer orders for that week, whatever, I always open this up and I'll add the contact if they're not already in there, and then I'll put in follow-up notes or whatever. So just keep this open while you're working if you're not working these power hour names.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also, just keep in mind too, that you can do it on your phone too. You don't need to be in front of your computer. So you can have your phone open. If you walk into Starbucks and connect with somebody, have a great chat, like you can pull out your phone and log that you had a great chat at Starbucks. Does this make sense? And so it's important. Okay, so let me just give you this example. So Angel and I are now, we're messaging, just kind of having a conversation. I'm going to ask her what's going on with her. Ask her to give me a little update on what's going on in her life and see what's happening. And she's going to tell me some things, right? So we're going to have a little bit of back and forth. She's expecting me to do the same. So when she tells me about her life, she's expecting me to tell her about my life, right? And it's just real, just friendly banter. It's nothing deep, right? It's just like what's, sometimes you'd be amazed, sometimes it does get deep, but you know, you're not trying to be weird or deep. It's just like, what's going on with you? Did you have a good, you know, what'd you guys do over Christmas? How's the family? That kind of stuff. And then you're going to tell them the same thing. So it's kind of like the law of reciprocation. She's going to give me her update. I'm going to give her my update. Now, I'm just giving you, I know I'm going a little deeper into this than you need for Teamzy, but just kind of giving you guys how to do this the relationship marketing way. People are always like, how do I bring the business into this? People, you know, I love Teamzy. I love connecting. It feels so good, but how do I get it back to my business? So here's how you do it, you guys. When you're talking about what's going on in your life, talking about your family, your kids and your dogs or whatever, you're going to mention your business too. It's part of your life. It's not a big deal. It's not a tiger waiting to pounce on them. It's just part of your business. It's part of your life. I mean, your business is part of your life. Did I tell you that I partnered with, is it Zyia? I've been always saying Zyia. Zyia. I partnered with Zyia. Have you heard of them? It's been amazing. And here's what I want you guys to tell them. As you tell them about your business, tell them what you do and why you're passionate about it. Okay. So tell them, oh my gosh, I'm in love. I'm obsessed with this company. Why? Tell them. Okay. And here's what can I please just say this? Because this is like a chip on my shoulder with our industry. Don't tell them that you're in the business of empowering women to find their destiny and unlock that. Like that doesn't mean anything. Tell them it's Zyia. Tell them what you sell and why you love the company. Does this make sense? And then you can go deeper into it and be like, and I love how empowering it is. That's great. But don't do the fluffy stuff that doesn't mean anything. Right? And this is done in our industry. It drives me nuts. Like, tell me what you're selling. Oh, that's cool. And just tell them why you love it. Now, here's the thing. When you tell somebody what you're doing and why you're passionate about it, they will always be excited for you, no matter what. They don't feel threatened. They're just going to be excited. Oh, that's great. Good for you. Okay. And that's your goal. It's just to have a great conversation, inform them of what you're doing, that is, you're passionate about it, get them a little bit excited about it. And just based on their response, you could just say something like, yeah, and if you'd ever like to learn more about it, let me know. I'd be happy to get you more info. Does this make sense? You can do this, right? And what will happen is when you do it that way, people will say, okay, yeah, thanks. I'll keep that in mind. They're not going to avoid you. They're not going to unfriend you, right? Or unfollow you because of that conversation. They're going to think that was a nice conversation. Some of them will go, I want to know about this right now. You love this? Tell me about it. And now you can have the conversation about business. Does this make sense? Set up another call. Let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let me show you some stuff, right? So some of those people right away on that first conversation will be ready to talk more. Some people will say, I'll keep that in mind. What you'll find out about those people is you'll see them liking your things. You see those hearts popping on your Instagram stories, right? Suddenly they're really interested in what you're doing because you actually reached out and showed them some time. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And so over time, then 3 months later, 2 months later, they come back on Teamzy, you direct message them again. You'd be amazed how educated they are in what you're doing, how interested they are in learning more. Some might take longer. That's okay too. So let's pretend, because Angel's just, she sees the opportunity immediately. She wants to know about it. How do I do this in Teamzy? And then we'll do some Q&A. So what I would do is, you notice that she's not on my list anymore because I've already connected. She's in the, I call it the Teamzy flow. She's going to come back in 30 days. But if I need to get to her record for anything, I just search it right here. You just put in a little piece of their name and they'll come up. Okay. And that brings me to her record. So this is her full contact record in Teamzy, where I'd have a record of all of our conversations. I would have all of her contact info, right? Any notes that I've written from our calls would be here. And any tags I've added would be here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the connect box. So that opens up the box just like on the dashboard. This is where I would log a connect with her. So she's like, yeah, I'd like to learn more. Great. So what I'm going to do now is try to get her on a Zoom or a FaceTime, right? I want to get face-to-face and talk, get off chat. Make sense? So let's say we get on a Zoom where we can talk. The most important thing is just, again, is to ask a lot of questions and understand what they need, what they want, what their goals are, so that you can help them. Remember, sales is solving problems for people. You can't solve a problem for someone that you don't know. I mean, you don't know their problem. They have to articulate the problem before you can solve it. Does this make sense? You can't like send them a link and say, peruse my catalog and solve your own problems. That doesn't work. Can you imagine if you weren't feeling well and you went to a doctor's office and the nurse came to talk to you and she said, before the doctor sees you, here's the catalog of all the pharmaceuticals we sell. Why don't you take a look at what you think you might need? And then when the doctor comes, you can place your order. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that seem weird? Well, you guys understand that's what they're doing, right? They're placing the order. They're telling you what to order. So they're coming in, they're listening. Tell me what you're feeling. What are your symptoms? They're taking notes. The doctor comes in, goes a little deeper. And then they say, based on what you're telling me, Eric, I recommend this pharmaceutical. I recommend you buy this. And so I'm going to write you the prescription so you can go buy it. It's the same thing. It's called prescriptive selling. That's what you guys need to do. You listen, you find out what they need, you clarify their goals, and then you help give them the solution to that problem. Are you with me? So I'm going to get her on the Zoom. We're going to talk. I'm going to present the whole business to her, find out what she needs, present it to her. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to log this in Teamzy. So that would be logged as a video chat. I'm going to put in here all the notes from our Zoom call. Okay. All the notes in there, everything she's telling me, I'm going to put them all in here while we're talking. Usually I'll say, do you mind if I take some notes while we talk? Type it right in there. And when it's ready to log, I'm going to click on share. Do you see the bottom left where it says share? This is how you log a share. So when you click that, it defaults to just connect. But now you want to take it down to what's more appropriate. Was it business opportunity, products, right? If it's both, I would click on business opportunity. So I'm going to click on that. So now Teamzy is noting this as a business opportunity share, not just, hey, Angel and I chatted. Are you with me? Okay. And as soon as I logged as a share, see right here, it toggled on the follow-up list. It added her to my follow-ups list automatically. Now it toggles it. It does like a default of 2 days. You can click on that and change the date to anything you want, but I'm going to follow up tomorrow. Now here's one of my pro tips for you is always follow up the next day. Okay. And tell them you're going to. So, okay, Angel, this was a great conversation. She's excited. Perfect. Here's how you place your order, right? Everything we need to do, we can do it. I'll check in tomorrow, see if you have any questions. She says, perfect. So tell her you're going to follow up tomorrow. And then when you actually do it, you will have kept your first promise to her. Make sense? So this is building trust, building trust. You have to earn trust, right? So when I log this, it now logged. You can see the Zoom call notes are there. It's logged. And the follow-up for tomorrow is on her record. Now, if I go to the dashboard and I go to follow-ups, you'll notice now there's Angel due tomorrow. So tomorrow when I do my power hour, I connect with prospects, customers, representatives, and then I check my follow-ups. Angel's due. I'm going to send her a follow-up message. Now, this is just as easy as sending a regular Connect script. Are you guys with me? Okay, so go to scripts and now choose one that says follow-up. So these are in here for you. Follow-up number 1. Hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Okay, so we're keeping our promise. I'm going to copy that script. We're going to send it to Angel. I'm going to change the name to Angel. Don't send the wrong name. You actually don't need to paste it in Teamzy. You can go straight to messaging it. The reason I do the extra step is for that reason, to make sure I have everything the way I want it before I accidentally send it to somebody, right? Are you guys with me? I've done it a million times. So there she is. I'm going to send her my quick message, checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Done. Now what we do is we log that in Teamzy that you sent the follow-up, log connect. Now Teamzy is going to ask me, did that complete the follow-up you had scheduled, Eric? Yes, leave it checked, but then click on add another follow-up. Okay. Always set a new follow-up. So you send the message, you have no idea if they're going to reply, right? They may or may not reply to it. Set the next one. So I'm going to set it, let's say I'll set it for Thursday. Great. You can leave yourself a note what you're going to follow up on. By the way, FU2 in my shorthand means follow up number 2. Okay. Just clarifying. Okay. So I'm going to create that. And then it's like, okay, great. We're going to complete one follow-up and set a new one. Perfect. Done. So now if you look over here, now she has a follow-up due on Thursday. And if I go to activity, you can see that I sent the follow-up today.
And you can make, yeah, I was gonna say, and you can make me a customer too. Like you go to connect and show them how to make.
If she, I can easily make her a customer on details. If she ended up purchasing, I just click on that and it would move her from prospects to customers immediately. She'd move lists, right? But we're probably not ready to do that yet because I'm still in the follow-up phase. So one thing I just want to say about this is just really quick on this is the way we stay in momentum. You start conversations every day, right? So Teamzy tells you who to connect with. The second thing you need to be doing every day is you need to continue conversations that you started, and you're continuing conversations towards the share, right? It may take a while sometimes. Sometimes it's right away. Sometimes it takes a while. So you're starting conversations and you're continuing conversations towards a share. The third thing you're doing in momentum is you're sharing daily. So you got a couple opportunities a day to share, you're doing it, right? The next thing you're doing in momentum, the fourth piece of momentum is you're following up on shares. You're following up on shares. The follow-up is where everything happens. All this work we've done is to get you to the point of share. Now you have to follow up. And you typically will have to follow up 10 times. So you've done all this work to get here and you still have to follow up 10 times. But let me just explain something to you guys. Statistically, 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Okay, 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. 20% happen in the first 3 follow-ups. How many of you guys love it when people sign up or purchase the first 3 follow-ups? It's great, but it's only 20%, right? In school, 20% was worse than an F, wasn't it? So we want to make sure that we're getting all of the opportunity and helping all of the people. Now, really quick on this, it's very simple. I put 10 follow-up scripts in Teamzy. They are numbered 1 through 10. Seriously, just send them in order. These scripts have been refined for 20 years. They're just really clean and they work. They're not cheesy, right? They're very relational and they work. But I'm going to explain to you why they work. See, as a business coach, this is just kind of a weird thing. I know I'm a little over time. Is it okay? Am I doing okay with you guys? Okay. So just really quick, as a business coach, people would typically pay me, $500 to call them for 30 minutes to twice a month for 30 minutes to talk to them about their business. And we would have a set time and I would call them and they would not be there. They would not answer. Weird, right? And so as I got more experience, what I realized is sometimes they would avoid me because they hadn't done anything we agreed on in the last call. Right? So they were avoiding the accountability. But at the same time, they were still paying me quite a bit of money for that time. And so I felt like, okay, I need to find a way to reconnect with them. I don't want them to cancel our relationship, right? But I also want them to get their value. So here's what I learned. If you want to follow up with somebody and not be annoying, there's 2 principles. Okay, my follow-up scripts already follow these principles, but I'm going to teach them to you guys so you remember this. How many of you are like 10 follow-ups, I'll be annoying, they're going to hate me? Did anybody worry about that? Okay, so here's how you do it. The first thing you do is you make sure that you don't ever ask them to do anything. Okay, so don't say, please respond. Call me. I mean, nobody calls, but Call me, message me, respond. Oh my gosh, are you coming to my event or not? You haven't RSVP'd. Like, don't ask them to do anything, because as soon as you put something on them, it can be annoying. Make sense? So that's the first principle. It's like, I'm present. When you're ready, like, I'm here, like, I'm coming to you. The second thing that you don't want to do, or that you do want to do, I guess, depending on how I phrase it, you want to make sure your message is short enough they can read it without opening it. So on a follow-up, don't use voice message, okay? Sing people happy birthday. Tell them you love them on voice message, great. But on a follow-up, don't use voice message, right? Just do a quick message they can scan without opening, because here's what's going to happen. They're not going to open the message most of the time, but they will always look at it. They will always look at it. We're obsessed. The reason they're not going to open it is because, you know, they're busy at the moment doing something. Life's happening. They don't have, they know they can't respond right now. They don't want to send that read receipt to you and look like a jerk for not responding. So what they intend to do is, I'll open it later and respond. But if it's the long message, and Angel already hinted this, but if it's a long message, they're like, now I don't know what it says. I'm not going to open it. Right? So it's annoying. If it's a voice message, how many of you have small kids? Does anyone have small kids? How hard is it to listen to a voice message when your kids are around? Like, as soon as you pick up your phone and it makes noise, it's like they're homing missiles. They just want to get in between, and right? Isn't it true? So a voice message is often put off till after the kids are in bed, which means that I'm not even going to listen to it. Most people won't even listen to it till 9 o'clock at night if they remember. True? Or do you get a response like a month later? It's like, oh my gosh, I missed this. Yeah, you did. That's how they missed it. Okay. So short, sweet, let them read it on the lock screen. It pops on the lock screen. Look, I've got messages on my lock screen right now. We're obsessed with reading those. Right? So they'll always get it. Now, here's what I want you guys to understand. I'm talking to Angel. She's excited. She sees the opportunity. I'm in. This is going to be great. I'm like, oh my gosh. I come to the team call, the Monday night team call. I got this new person. Her name's Angel. You guys are going to love her. She's going to be my next star. And I send her that follow-up message. No response. A couple days later, I send her another follow-up message. Nothing. Third one, crickets. Have you guys ever experienced this? Now I come back to the Monday call. Tell us about Angel, Eric. She's supposed to be amazing. She's ghosting me. Now what happens is I feel the need to explain what I have no clue why she's not responding. So I'm like, well, I went on Instagram. Looks like her dog is sick. So she's probably obsessed with that. Or you know, I took a look at her husband on social media. He looks like a jerk. I think they're probably having issues. Like, you guys make this stuff up. Let's be honest. We have no idea why she's not messaging me. But I will tell you this, the vast majority of people don't respond to the first 5 or 6 follow-ups. Even the people who love you, who trust you, who are very excited, they just don't. They mean to. They mean to. They just procrastinate. They put it off. This is why you have to stay present. Stay top of mind. And what'll happen is, it's kind of like number 7 is kind of the magic one, where people respond with the I'm sorry message. I'm so sorry. I haven't been responding. This is what's been going on in my life. Thank you for staying in touch. And this is where, like, the conversation restarts. Does this make sense? So hang in there. If you message people 3 times and you give up on them, you're missing out on most of the opportunities. The other thing is that if I'm going to talk to you because I want to help you in some way, and I tell you I'm going to help you in some way, and I give up on you because you didn't respond after 3 times, what does that tell you? That I really didn't care about you, right? Following up is how you show your love. I always say following up is an act of love. It's how you show your love for them. So stay consistent. Now, Teamzy is designed to keep you in momentum, starting conversations every day, continuing conversations, sharing, and following up. And if you do that, what you'll see is every month, you'll see consistent conversions. You'll be surprised who converts, by the way, because those follow-ups, you just don't know who's going to convert this month or next year, right? As you're just messaging them, you'll be surprised, but somebody always does, and it is consistent. Okay, real quick before we do questions, I just want to tell you guys a couple quick things. Teamzy.com, free trial, 14 days. After the 14 days, Teamzy's $30 a month, $1 a day. Okay. However, we have a special rate right now for Zyia where it's a third off. So it's $19.95 a month. So it's like 60 cents a day to have all this planned for you, right? So make sure you lock that in. Once you've locked it in, we will grandfather you at that price and never raise it on you. Okay. For those of you who are super excited, you can do 12 months at a time and save even more instead of just 30 days at a time. You can cancel anytime, anything it's easy. Okay. So check that out, teamzy.com, get in your free trial. There's another thing that I just want to mention really quick because I wasn't planning on it, but I'm just going to mention it. I do this special program 3 times a year. It's called Kickstart. Kickstart's for new people to Teamzy. It's a 2-week little boot camp that helps new people get their Teamzy set up and get you in the habit of doing your power hours. We have an accountability Facebook group. I do a couple live Zooms to kick it off with my business partner, mentor, Mike Lopez. And it's just a really great kind of environment to get going. So if you guys are interested in doing Kickstart, it actually begins next Monday, the 7th, and it goes for 2 weeks. And once you get into your free trial of Teamzy, you should see that link pop at the top to just join Kickstart. It's like $10 to join the Kickstart program. Okay, so nominal fee just to make sure that you have a little skin in the game, because we don't want to spend time on people who don't want to do anything, right? Isn't it funny how you don't actually do stuff if it's free? So I'm just throwing that out there for you guys too. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I know I'm a little over time. I tried to squeeze it in there, but if you guys have questions, feel free to ask, unmute, ask away. I'll hang out as long as you have questions.
Randy, you had a question, right?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how do I permanently delete someone? So for instance, I exported all of my Facebook contacts, but there are people that I would not even think about, or like I haven't gone through Facebook to clean up some of those connections.
Yeah. Okay, let me show you a couple ways. It's really so if you're on the dashboard and you're just doing a power hour and somebody comes up and you want to delete them, there's a delete on the drop down.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's easy.
And that will permanently delete them, because I know you can sync your Facebook back. I was wondering about that.
It'll permanently delete them. And the only way to get them undeleted is you have to go into we have a tool to undelete deletes in case you accidentally do it. But yeah, they'll be permanently deleted. If you import Facebook again, it will not re-import those people.
Okay.
Okay. We keep them in the deleted folder so that we can make sure we don't import them again from Facebook. Does that make sense? But you won't see them. Now, I've gone to the team page right here, clicked on team. Just so you guys know, so there's no confusion. In relationship marketing, your team is not just your representatives. It's also your customers and all your prospects. Everyone who supports you and supports your business and supports your life is your team. Does that make sense? The way we look at them. So you're creating a community. You're the center of a community that you're creating that supports your business. Okay. So the team page has all your contacts in one long list. So I'm on all, so it's everybody, right? But I want to show you this really quick, Randy. It's really cool. So if you go to this little menu right here, these 3 dots, there's a couple of modes. So one of them is rank mode. So if you toggle that on, now it's turned the stars on for everybody. So this is how you guys are going to do this once when you set up, is you're going to come in rank mode. You know, you get your laptop or your phone out while you're doing your Netflix and chill or whatever you're doing, and you just rank the list. Everyone's going to be 3 stars to start, and you'll just come down. If you see someone who's a 5, you just click on 5. If you see somebody you want to delete, you just click on the trash can.
Okay.
So this is the quickest way for you to clean up that list. There's another mode that you can do, and this is type mode. So if for some reason you imported people, like you imported your team and you didn't tell Teamzy, this is my list of reps. Now you can come down the list and just click on, when you click on it, they change lists. So if this is a representative, you click on it and they change lists. They go over to that list. Oh, that person's a customer. So it's just a quick way to clean these up.
And you can't tell who your reps are using Teamzy, can you?
There is a way, which is really cool. So over here on the left is the team report. So click on that. So the team report, what this does is you can invite your team to join you. So you can click on this and it'll actually it'll email everybody who you put in as a representative with an email address. It'll send them an email inviting them to join your team report. They have to give consent, right? So they just click a link, or you can invite one team member and drop their email in here and click invite. Now, what happens is when they say, yes, I'll share, then you get this. You can see how many connects they've made, follow-up shares, and how they're doing on their daily goals if they're adding people. You can't see their data. You can't see like who they're talking to or anything like that.
Is this just by day? Is it just by day, or can you do it by like week or?
No, it's by any amount of time.
Oh, cool. This is what our WAM calls should have, guys. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show you something cool. In fact, let me just pull it up on another browser, so because it's going to be a different account. But let me just come in here real quick. I'll show you a live team report that I have going on, because I'm doing one of my boot camps. This one is my my leadership development camp, and I use these to do leaderboards. So I'm going to stop this here. Hold on. Let me share the other browser. This is really cool. I love the team reports. My favorite thing. Okay.
Hey.
Can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is a real time. This is my Teamzy lead group right now, and I can see today who's killing it. Right. So how many connects they're doing. So these people have done 25 connects today, and then I can also go like, okay, well, how about this whole program since Lee started? So I can see how many connects people have made since the beginning of this program, right? And so then what I do is I create from this, every Sunday, I put up the leaderboard from the past week. And so here's the people who crushed it this week. It's just a kind of a fun thing I do, but you'll see people go, how do I get on the leaderboard? I'm like, well, you got to do 100 connects this week and you'll get on the leaderboard. Oh, how many did I do? You did 90. You're close. Oh, I gotta up my game a little, right? So it kind of gets people going, if that makes sense. So that's kind of a fun thing to do.
Eric, I have a question.
Yes.
I did imports, and there's a bunch of names that their names came in backwards. Their first name is their last, and their last is their first.
Okay.
I think that was
So-
our customer list. Mine was like that. I think it's probably a
Yeah, I think it's my
Zyia
customers.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a Zyia thing, the way their import is.
So when you do the import, it'll say, okay, we've got your, everything's ready to go. Do you want to import? And there'll be a little link that says show columns or show data or something. And if you click that, it'll show you what's assigned to what, and you can change it. You know, you've probably done this in other systems. So it would show you like, oh, first name's assigned to last name. I need to toggle that to, does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
but so do I need to delete all my customers and re-import them then? Because all their names are backwards?
the best thing to do would probably be to redo that. Let me show you how you do it. And just so you guys know, if you need help with this stuff, we have an amazing support team that can walk you through all this. They can get on a Zoom with you, Kimberly, and walk you through this.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go back to my team page, here's how we would do it. Right here where it says tools, I would go to import history. Okay, so I'm going to click on import history. And this shows you all your imports. So, I mean, what I did would be listed. You can delete the entire import by clicking this. Now, it would delete everything. Like all those people would be gone out of the system completely, right?
Right.
So when you're ready to re-import that list, that's what you would do, is you would delete the original one and import it. But however, you will lose all of the things you've logged. Another thing that you could do is you could just go in, as I don't know how many people we're talking about, but let's say it was, so it'd be quicker for you to just fix it. So like if this is, let's say Maynard Abels was backwards, I go to details and I would just type, just change, just edit it here.
Okay.
If it's just a few, that's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't know if there was like a toggle, a secret toggle.
Yeah. I mean, but if everybody got messed up,
right.
I would redo it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
yeah, that makes sense. And then I had one other thing. Have you thought of when you do the sample text, you know how we pick it and then we have to put the person's name in because we're already on the person? Have you ever looked at having it fill that person's name in?
Yes.
From the list. Okay.
We have looked at that.
Okay.
We just haven't done it because it requires a lot of programming.
Right. Yeah.
And so, it's just kind of like figuring out where to put those programming resources to give you guys the best thing. Now, one of the things I will say about Teamzy, probably because it's built by coaches and not engineers, there's a lot of features that we have intentionally left out because there's a couple of things that you guys need. It needs to be easy enough for you to use, and it needs to keep the focus on the right activities, right? But even more important, well, I won't say more importantly, equally important is that you can duplicate this with team members, that your techie people and your non-techie people alike can do the system, right? And so everybody gets it. The biggest challenge in our industry is you have somebody who's super successful. And you guys have probably seen this even with Zyia, but like somebody goes on stage at convention and they're like, okay, tell us how you've been so successful. And they're like, oh, it's easy. I've got a 14-page spreadsheet, color coordinated. And what I do is when I contact people, I change it from green to yellow to orange, and then I move them over here, and then I do this, and then I send an email 12 days later. Have you seen this kind of thing? And you're taking notes going, this is the secret to success. That's a one-off system that nobody can duplicate, right? And so this is what happens all the time because corporate doesn't have something that's easily duplicatable. It's up to the field to figure out what works. People create their own systems, which is great, but you got to understand this business and any other business, creating a system that works creates a successful business. In this business, it has to be able to duplicate 100,000 times. So you got to keep it super simple. So anyways, I know that wasn't your question, but there are lots of things that are like, we have on the list that are like, this would be cool, but then we filter it through. Does this make it easier or more complicated? Does this keep people focused on the majors or the minors, right? And what kind of resources will require to build. So we look through that and we have a list. I mean, I have a list that's like super long that we constantly go over and decide what needs to be done, if that makes sense. So I love hearing it. And if you guys have suggestions, please tell me. I'm not saying I don't want them. I don't want them. Everything we've done has been generated by our family, our Teamzy family.
Cool. Well, I know it's getting late, and Eric, you're amazing. I wanted to say too that the university on the Teamzy page is, I mentioned the videos you get when you are starting are awesome, but the university is he goes way beyond contact management. He talks about your why and your relationship building and building trust and like all of these things that are critical to our business. And you do it so well. So I am super impressed. I love this. I will say, I think we've had since share on here. We don't have a lot of companies outside like promoting their stuff like you, but I'm such a believer of this. I've seen since a month or so, I've been using it. Such a change in my business. $1 a day is so worth it, guys. Get it. Start using it. I know Randy, Kimberly, the couple of us that have, we are just seeing it work. This is going to change your business. You've got to start using it. And
Angel, I've got a
ahead,
Angel Jeff.
Yep.
So I'm going to dive into this. My wife tried the 2-week sample and I don't know what happened with that, but I'm going to dive into it and pay for it. My question is you start a conversation. This is a power hour. You start a conversation. Do you just carry that conversation on through Teamzy or whatever for that hour and then kind of move on with your life? And then the next day, that hour, you follow back up? Or how do you do your reach out and then communication?
That's a great question. Okay, here's how I recommend you do it. So when you're doing your power hour, which will probably be less than an hour once you get the feel for this, you're just sending messages. Like, don't respond to the incoming messages right now, right? Just try to ignore them. I know it's hard, but if you run down that rabbit trail, you won't get any sent, right? So we want to get through sending messages to our prospects, our customers, our reps, and any follow-up messages we need to send, we want to get them sent. If there's time left, once you've done that, if there's time left in your power hour, then you can go back and respond to messages. Just to kind of give you an idea, what I did in the beginning when I had a full-time job and my kids and everything, is I would get up in the morning early, like before dawn, right? And I would send my messages at like 4:30 in the morning. And so nobody's responding. I mean, some people on the East Coast, on the West Coast would respond, but most people aren't responding anyways. They're not even getting those messages till later, right? But I would fire them off, and then my kids would wake up, it'd be mayhem. Then I would go to work, right? And And I say that lovingly. I mean, I love the mayhem of my kids, but it's mayhem, isn't it? Like you're not doing anything focused at that time, except feeding them, clothing them, yelling at them to brush their teeth, that kind of thing. So, then I go to work and I'm at work. So what I would do is now messages are popping in while I'm at work. Of course, I'm not going to answer them. So during my lunchtime, I would take half my lunch break, 30 minutes. I would go to my messages and I would just go down all my unanswered messages and respond. Okay.
I saying the 4:30 thing because my wife looks at me like I'm crazy when I think like that. So thank you for saying that.
It's all right. Now, people are always like, well, I want a message when they're most likely to respond. You don't have to do that. First of all, you don't want to set the expectation that anytime they message, you're jumping on the response. You want to set the expectation that, hey, this is casual. Like I message you hello, you message me hello back. It doesn't have to be immediate. We'll message back. We'll stay in touch, right? Because you also don't want to be at their beck and call, and you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So just keep it casual. So I would do 30 minutes during my lunch break and 30 minutes in the evening after my kids went to bed. And those 30 minutes would be kind of like a mini power hour where I was just answering all the unanswered questions or responses, messages, whatever you want to say. I did find that 9 o'clock half hour though, people were in active conversations with me. So if you are texting or messaging people at that multiple people, just take a breath. Make sure that you're not sending the message to the wrong human. If you're toggling back and forth, right? Sitting on your couch or whatever. So, but that's how I managed it. Now, if you decide not to, this is called time blocking, right? And so I put it in my calendar, 12:30 to 1, return messages, 9 to 9:30, return messages. My wife and I share a calendar. So she knew she wasn't going to get mad at me at 9 when I wasn't hanging out with her. Like she knew I was going to work at that time for 30 minutes. But what it did was by time blocking those blocks, and I would schedule my power hour too in my calendar. Like I'm getting up to do my power hour. By time blocking, it gives you the discipline to do it, but it also gives you the freedom of the rest of your day. Because if you don't have a plan to answer those messages, you will be on your phone all day long. Right? Now, some of you might not have, like, no offense, some of you might not have much going on in your business. And it might be exciting to have your phone buzzing all day because you started using Teamzy. That is not how you're going to build your business. You're going to lose your hair, right? It's going to be too stressful. So the time block, I'm glad you asked the question because the time blocking is really a pro way to handle this. And then as your business grows and you get to be, blessed like I was, which was being able to leave my job in a pretty short amount of time. Now you're full-time in the business, your time blocking becomes even more important because you've got more to get done, but you also have more life to live, right? So then it's like, you might have 2 power hours scheduled. I mean, how many of you like to work? Who has a job? How many of you guys work in a job? Let me see. Okay, great. So, when you work for somebody else, it's like 9-10 hours a day you work for them. When you work for yourself, it needs to be 4 hours a day. Okay, right? So you want to make sure that you are focused during those work times so that you can enjoy the rest of your time. Because let's be honest, when you're at the job, how many hours of those 9-10 hours are super productive time? How much of it is going to the bathroom, talking to the water cooler, being in meetings are a waste of time, right? I mean, that was the thing I always said, I wanted to own my own company so that I could say when the meeting was over. I hated being in meetings all the time. If you guys relate, I was like, I'm the CEO. This meeting is over. Let's talk later, right? Email me your updates. We're done. So those are just a couple of things. Hopefully that helps.
All right, guys, this is awesome. It's almost 9. It's almost 10. Eric, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. This is amazing. Hopefully everyone, I know a lot of people watch this. We changed our normal time, our call day. So I'm sure people will watch this that aren't here, but it is that great. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see everyone's business keep on getting bigger and better because of what you're doing. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I know I had a couple announcements, but I'm going to just post them on our team page tomorrow. I've got to get to bed. I'm so tired. But y'all are awesome. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. God bless.
Here.
Talk to you soon.
I'm just so grateful for all of you. And talk to you soon. Janice, I love seeing you, girl. Your doggy. Awesome. Y'all have a great night.
Night.
Night, everyone.
Eric, thank you.